I really find it interesting what you said at some point at the beginning of your speech about blueprint. So that the flower and the tree and the human beings and every living organism has this blueprint, and it wants to come to its full expression. And can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, how do we get to know as people? I'm sure that there's many people out there that wants to know, get to know what is my blueprint and what is my purpose.
Well, it's unique for every human being, although it's not necessarily so unique. The way that we uniquely are an expression of life is simply that's who we are. That's why we have a name. That's why we have a sound. That's why, you have hair that falls in a certain way, and I have hair that falls in another certain way. And so through the human expression, life is giving expression to a myriad of unique expressions. That blueprint has a lot to do with our soul signature, and that may for some sound a little bit airy-fairy and fluffy because we can't really sense it, but I've studied Syntropy long enough within the human ecosystem that I've been able to have my spiritual questions about soul and spirit and star constellational influences on our soul signature, on birth time, your astrology chart. Well, all of that is just part of the syntropic nature of life, and everything can be answered and measured to syntropy in that way, which only deals with the living and the existing. It doesn't deal with the fantasies that are all spiritualized or the new cage ideologies that have come up. And so we come in with a blueprint that is defined or imbued, so to speak, by a tremendous amount of circumstances that are both cosmological. They are also really part of our calling in this world. Humanity is one tribe, one family. We are one peoples. We all bleed red blood. We all pee, we all poo, we all cry, and we all cry tears when we cry, even though some cry and there's no tears coming. But if they train themselves to be vulnerable, the tears will roll. So we are one species. And as a species, as a colony, as a family, we each in our collective ecosystem have beautiful gifts and talents to offer to the collective of humanity. And because humanity has gone through a cycle of great repression and forgetfulness of who we really are as a human family of love, there are stronger soul signature frequencies being birthed onto this earth to allow for the rebalancing and the recalibration of our human collective distortion and the creation of our dystopia and the mayhem and the chaos and all the shit that is full from the matrix programming. Stronger soul signatures are coming into our ecosystem to balance the imbalance. And this has to do that everything in nature operates on life always fills the gap. And so when we create an absence of presence of consciousness and awareness, because we lull ourselves to sleep and we believe in the governments and we believe everything that the teacher told us and all this programming, if we buy into that, what we do is we let go of our soul to a degree. We let go of our intuition, and we let go of everything that is intrinsic to being a human being. Well, when we start doing that, but by the millions, because we're dealing with Western cult programming that is affecting the entire planet. So we're talking really about billions of people. When we disconnect unconsciously more and more from who we really are, stronger soul frequencies will be coming in to fill that gap, because everything remains connected. And so the way that I relate to it is that we have this syntropic natural order that runs really, this is nature, and it's a fluid stream, and It ebbs and flows and it moves like that. But when we have an entropic programming that is an artificial override of this original blueprint of humanity, and it pushes us over to this side, well, it remains connected to the natural order. We cannot ever live separated, because if we were disconnected from life, we would all be dead. So we can only in our mind's orientations, we move too far away from our natural ways of being. Well, what life will do is to fill that gap, is that new soul frequencies will come in that are even stronger and more clear, and they are even more resilient, and they're even more willing, and they have qualities and gifts that are all focused on the restoration and the regeneration and the recalibration and the deep healing, the deep and profound healing that really at this point humanity benefits taking on really in a serious manner. And so that original blueprint gets informed by means of how we are also bound and connected to our collective human family. And so we find in this generation, and I see it very clearly, is that we are going to have more and more already at birth enlightened human beings being born that are really, it's almost like impossible for them to be brought down. Why? Is because their soul frequency and their spirit is here to perform a function with purpose. And that's called the recalibration and the restoration and the reawakening of humanity to its original blueprint, that we as human beings are a family of love.